Hello, welcome to Tech Beyond Basics. In this video, let's look at two different ways to create dependent dropdowns. In this spreadsheet, we have a list of countries followed by their cities. So we'll look at creating a dropdown for the country, and when you select a particular country, the corresponding city list should populate here in the dependent dropdown. So now let's look at how to create a list. So for that, you just need to go to Data tab, select Data Validation. And since we are creating a list, from the drop-down select List. And for the source, just select the range for the countries and click OK. And here you would have a list of the countries. Now to populate the list of cities, let's look at the formula first. So we would be using an XLOOKUP function where your lookup value would be the country name and the lookup array would be the list of countries, and it should return the list from the cities. Yeah, so when you select a particular country, you would have the corresponding cities here, but you don't want this formula here, so let's copy it, go back to the data validation, select list, and paste this formula in the source. Now, whenever you select a particular country, you would see the corresponding city list here. So if you select United States, you have the list of cities from United States. You select New Zealand, you will have the list of cities from New Zealand. But the only drawback here is you would have these empty selections wherever you have these blanks. You would have these empty selections. That is the only drawback from this method. But in most cases, I think this should work. But let's look at method 2 here as well. So for the countries, it's let's create the list first. The source would be the countries. And now to populate the city, we would create a named range for each country. So to do that, first select the range here for Australia. Go to formulas, and then here you have something called create from selection. Check the first box, top row, and then click OK. So this will create a named range. To check if this named range is created, you can click on Name Manager, and you would see here. So the heading is Australia. So for this country, you will have created named range. Similarly, for each country, you can create that. Okay, now when you go back to Name Manager, you can see. But wherever you have a space, for example, New Zealand, so wherever there is a space, it creates an underscore here. So this is something to note, and we'll see how we can create this. So for this, we can use a formula which is indirect, and you would reference the country. So what indirect does is it will pick up the named range that we have created. So for Australia, it will go back and look up from that particular named range. So this is how it populates. But where you, for example, United Kingdom, where we have a space, it would throw an error because it has created based on underscore, but here you have a space. So to make this work, what we will do is we will use nested function. So we would use substitute. So what substitute does is we will replace the space with an underscore. So now this will work. Now you can copy this formula, go back to the data validation, select list from the drop down and paste this formula in the source. And now you will have the corresponding city for the countries. Thanks for watching. If this video was of any help to you, please consider liking and subscribing. See you next time.